Hi everyone! So for today's video, I'm going to show you how to achieve this really fun neon summer look. So if you want to see how to achieve this look, you can just keep on watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos 3 times a week. So subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content. And that's it. So let's get started with the makeup. Alright, so we are going to get started. Now this is the look I created. I really wanted to do another like fox eye tutorial, but a little bit more like colorful. I also wanted to play with some neon colors, and I also really wanted to play with the Norvina electric cake liners. I don't really think that I've used them enough since I got them, so I really wanted to try and like use one of the shades as a eyeshadow, like a very bright eyeshadow. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to start by priming my lids. I'm going to be using my MAC Pro Longueur concealer, and I'm just going to tap this all over my lid. So first thing I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to start with the bright yellow. So I'm going to take the electric cake liner in the shade electric yellow, and I'm actually going to be using a JH40 brush, which is a smaller blending brush. Now it's like really like nasty looking because I did this eye right now, but I'm actually going to take the brush. I'm going to dip it into water. I'm just going to remove the excess on a little tissue, and I'm going to dip directly in the gel liner, and I'm just going to test on the back of my hand the consistency. Now this is a little bit too watery, so I'm just going to again remove some of the water. I'm going to go back into the gel liner, and I'm going to try again. Yeah, this seems perfect. Here it was a little bit too watery, but this is just perfect. There's like no really like stripes in it. The color is quite uniform. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to start and tap this in the inner corner. This is so bright. So I'm really just going to start by getting the shape and the pigment that I want. And when everything is almost where I want it, I'm going to remove the excess gel liner on the back of my hand, and I'm going to let this dry for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to start doing circular motions on the edges to blend the shade out. It really surprised me how well this blended out. I thought it wouldn't be really easy, but it was, so that's really good. And I'm also going to make sure to blend some of this outer corner here. I'm also going to tap over it just to remove some of the pigment. And I'm also just going to go back into the gel liner just to intensify the color on the lid. And again, I'm going to remove the excess and blend the edges. Alright, so here we go. We have this really bright inner corner. So next, I'm going to be using my Morphe 24A palette. I depotted the palette, so it's right here. I'm going to be using the yellow shade from that palette. And I'm going to take that with any kind of flat brush. I'm using the JH41 brush. You can take any kind of very bright yellows you have. And I'm going to set that gel liner in place because it is going to move if I don't set it with a powder. And it's also going to be creasy. And I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush that has nothing on it just to blend some of these edges. And I'm also going to go into my Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and I'm going to use the shade Certified, which is just a cream shade. And I'm going to use that with a big fluffy brush just to blend some of these edges. So I'm just blending all of these edges because we are going to go in with a brown shade after, and I want to make sure that everything will blend nicely. So next, I'm going to be using a lavish tapered blending brush, and I'm going to be using from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. I'm going to do a little mix of the shade called Feeling Myself and Love Handles. I'm mainly going to be using the shade Love Handles though. And I'm going to start and pack this on this outer corner right here. And I'm going to blend this into the crease a little bit, but I'm not going to take it on top of the yellow. I'm really just taking this shade on the outer corner mostly, and I'm also going to bring this quite far on the outer corner. And this look is so fast to do. Like, I did it on this eye and I was like, I'm done already. Like, it doesn't take a lot of time. Next, I'm just going to grab a little bit of the shade Homebody on the same brush. I'm going to tap this a little bit closer to my lash line just to give a little bit of definition. I've been loving the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palettes. If I had to choose between the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 and Volume 2, I would definitely pick the Volume 2. It's so beautiful. So next, I'm just going to go into my Jackie Aina palette, and I'm going to take the shade called Credit on a small tapered brush, if I can find it. And I'm going to do a winged liner using that shade. Have a very nice like smoky effect. Doing winged liner with a powder is much more easy than a liquid liner. So if you're a beginner at doing like liquid liner or eyeliner, I would recommend you to start with like a black powder because it's so much more like controllable and it's really easy to clean if you make a mistake. You don't really have to have sharp and perfect edges whenever doing a liner with powder. Alright, so here we go. Next, before I clean up the under eye area, I'm going to go back into the Morphe 24A palette, and I'm going to be using this glitter right here, which has a kind of yellow golden undertone. I'm going to take that with kind of a fluffy, precise brush, and I'm going to pack this on top of the neon shade just to have kind of a glittery look to it. I don't want this glitter to be super compact, that's why I'm using kind of a fluffy brush. I just want a like nice wash of glitter. By doing so, if you apply like a glitter with a fluffy brush like this, you're going to get a lot of fallout. So be sure to start with your eyes if you do something like that. This glitter is so pretty. And I'm also going to take a little bit more of the Credit shade from my ABH Jackie Aina palette on the same beveled brush, and I'm going to do this inner corner like fox look. So I'm just going to stamp the line on. And as you can see right now, it's looking a little bit crazy. But I am going to clean up my under eye, and I'm going to clean that inner tear duct after. So I'm just going to take some micellar water with a little cotton pad, and I'm going to clean my under eye up, making sure that I removed all the glitter as well. I don't know why, but this looks like this side is way more orange than this one. What's going on? All right, so everything is looking good. I'm going to pop on some mascara. And I am going to be doing some fake lashes. I don't want my lashes today to be like too intense or too long. These I think should look good. So I'm going to be doing the Sephora collection lashes. This is the style, I believe, number 33, called Swanky. And it's just kind of a smaller lash that's a little bit longer on the outer corner just to intensify that cat eye we have right now. Next, I'm going to fill in my brow. I'm not going to do something very harsh today. I'm really just keeping my brows looking natural. And I'm going to fluff my hairs up using my ABH brow gel in the shade dark brown. Hey, hey, Monica, hey, put it, Monica, hey, hey, Monica. And next for my complexion, I'm going to be priming using the Touch in Soul Glossy Balm. I've been really liking this because it gives such a nice glow to the skin, but without having like any shimmers or whatever. I don't know why or how it does it, but it's really pretty. And it also hydrates my skin really nicely. And everything I put on top blends really beautifully. For my foundation, I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. This is the shade 100, and this is a little bit too light for me at the moment. So I'm going to be mixing it with the BB cream from Yves Rocher. This is too dark for me, so I'm just going to use that to make this foundation a little bit darker. So I'm just going to do one pump of the Fenty Hydrating Foundation and a little squeeze of the BB cream, but not too much because this foundation will get too dark for me. And I'm just going to dot this on the perimeter of my skin because I am going to apply some concealer in the center, and I don't really want to have too much product on my face in the center and everything like starting to look cakey, so I always like to apply the foundation on the perimeter. I'm going to blend all of that in using a Morphe M439 brush, which is just a foundation buffer brush. And I'm just going to pack this into my skin. I really like this foundation combo because it doesn't have too much coverage and it has a really nice hydrating finish. And in combination with the glossy like balm, it looks amazing. I really like it. I'm not going to do any cream contouring today just because I have a little friend right here. And I want to make sure to cover that up really nicely with a concealer. I don't really want to disturb like the coverage using a cream contour stick. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a concealer. I'm going to be using, as per usual, I'm going to use my Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer. I'm using the shade Ivory 20. And I've been really loving this concealer right now because it gives such a nice coverage. And like, I don't know how, but like, you don't really have to set it with a powder and it really will last on your skin. And like, I'm starting to have to like go in there and try to get more product. This is how like I've been using it very often. So I'm putting this on the high points of my face, and I'm also going to put some on this little friend right here. And let me blend that in with my concealer brush. Just doing some tapping motions. And for the little fella right here, we are going to let the concealer dry for a couple of seconds so that there's a little bit more coverage. Next, I think I'm going to be setting my face. So I'm just going to take my big fluffy powder brush and I'm going to use my Yves Rocher loose powder. You can use any kind of loose powder you have or the kind of powder you like to use. And I'm just going to set my whole face with this. I want my face today to be super flawless. And it's not really often that I set my whole face with powder. Usually I do like the kind of like glowy all cream finish, but I kind of feel like setting my whole face today. And next we are going to bronze the skin up. I think we need a little bit of color. So I'm going to use my Hourglass Ghost Edit palette. This is one of my favorite palettes for the face of all time. I love the blushes in here. I love the highlights. I love the bronzer. I love every single shade. So I'm going to grab the bronzer with my Real Techniques blush brush. And I'm just going to start and put this on the perimeter of my skin just to give a little bit more color. And I really want this look today to be extremely sun-kissed and bronze. So I'm going to be very like heavy with the bronzer. And I'm going to be using a highlight brush from e.l.f. And I'm actually going to mix both of these shades together. And I'm actually going to put this underneath my eyes just to give a little bit more like color. I'm also going to put this highlight powder on the high points of my face. So the nose, the forehead. Next, I'm just going to take my blush brush and I'm going to go into my Itslikely makeup palette. This is the Fairy Blush palette. And I'm going to go into this really pretty coral shade. I'm just going to put some of this on the high points of my cheeks. And I'm going to be quite generous with the blush. I'm also going to put some on my nose. Yeah, this blush is like so amazing. I also like to use this blush as a eyeshadow. Like this palette, I've used this so often. So for my highlight, I'm going to be using my Colourpop Supershock highlight in the shade You're a Catch. This highlight is freaking amazing. I love it so much. It's so intense and like the pan is huge, so this is going to last me like for an eternity. So I'm just going to dab some of this on the high points of my face. I'm also going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to put this on the brow bone. And I am going to finish my under eye area. For my under eye, I don't really want to do anything too crazy. I kind of want all the drama to be on the upper lid. So I'm actually going to go into my Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette, and I think I'm just going to go into the shade called Love Handles with a smaller blending brush. And I'm just going to blend that very closely to my lash line, just to have a little bit of something, but without being too intense. And that's it. That's going to be it. I'm going to pop on some lower lash mascara. All right, and for the lips, we are going to do something. I feel like doing something a little bit more, maybe a little bit like more peach coral. Yeah, so I'm going to use, this is old. This is a milk like lipstick in the shade Cream. I think these are discontinued and I'm so mad about that because like these were for the longest time like my favorite lipstick. I still have this one too. This is the shade called Wavy, which is a really pretty like deep brown shade. But the formula on these are so amazing. So I'm just going to put this all over. And I'm going to put on some gloss. I'm going to be using the NYX Lingerie Gloss in the shade Clear. And I'm going to apply this all over. Alright, and I'm going to be setting my face using my Pixie Rose Glow Mist, just to have a very dewy effect to the skin. And of course, I'm going to do fake freckles with this look. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing some fake freckles. This look calls for fake freckles because it's so like summer friendly and fresh. So I'm going to take my brow pencil, if I can find it. I'm just going to start dotting this all over my face. Alright everyone, so here we have it. This is the finished look. Let me say I love this look so much. I feel like this could be a really perfect summer look, maybe for a night out or something like for a special occasion. But anyways, so I hope this video was useful to you. I was really surprised how well these electric cake liners worked as a eyeshadow base. They blended super nicely. I was really surprised. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope this was useful to you. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like. You can also subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos 3 times a week, so subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.